What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is another Gags Goals update, and today I'm going to go show you what my program is looking like, just some of the different goals, and just kind of cluing in on what's been going on. So since my strict curl contest at the end of April, I've lost about 20 pounds or so. Again, depending on like how much I decide I want to eat, hydration, and all those things. But my weight was as heavy as 294 pounds. So it was my heaviest weigh-in this year. And I believe my lightest weigh-in this year was something around 268 pounds. I think at the time of this recording, I weighed in like around 274 pounds on this particular day. Just got back from Florida. Was coaching a couple of lifters down there, including Martin McCabe, who just broke some American records, which was really cool. So just missed out on an all-time world record. So he would have been the third athlete I've kind of worked with that's broken an all-time world record, and he is the fourth athlete I've worked with who has broken American records. That's pretty cool. So he's kind of ahead of Larry Wheels, where Larry Wheels was at 19, which is really exciting. It's not to say that he's going to surpass Larry's numbers, but I do believe he's got a lot of potential, and that's really exciting. So anyways, you can kind of see here I'm electing to do some squats that I'm walking out in heels. During this training cycle, I'm looking to improve my raw strength and just kind of squatting in a different way. So I'm looking to improve my quad strength, doing a more narrow squat with heels. I'm doing working on my back strength with the conventional deadlift, and overhead press is going to be working my delt and tricep strength. So there happens to be a local contest, which is kind of like a pseudo strength lifting event. So it's going to be with teams. It's going to be the walked out squat, the deadlift, and I believe you're allowed to do both stances, and the overhead press. So I'm actually not able to bench press right now due to some shoulder pain and some shoulder issues I'm having. So it actually works out pretty well. So that's going to be a little bit of a side quest, if you will. We've got some other side quests and some other things I'm going to be doing. So again, Mr. America is probably like my main kind of contest this year. But again, I'm just looking to get some more platform experience. So I am going to do a couple of our own strict curl meets. Again, just as practice. I'm not going to kind of peak for them, just kind of train through them. But you'll kind of see some footage later. So until those strict curl meets are done, I am going to elect to kind of use straps on the deadlift just to kind of protect my bicep. And then, like, again, when I have a little bit of like a break, I will just kind of go strapless. But I am kind of training my grip indirectly with some like bar hangs and stuff like that. Deadlifts have not been feeling great. Oddly enough, like the close stance squats, kind of feeling decent. But just deadlifts have been kind of feeling weird lately. When I was a little heavier, I was kind of feeling some tightness in my back, so I haven't really been able to get my deadlift quite back to where I want it. In terms of the strict press, since my body weight has dropped a bit, I also kind of feel like I lost some strength there. I'm also just trying to kind of figure out the technique, the layback. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like a press 2.0 or just more of a strict press, but trying to at least get like a little bit of hip movement just to kind of help get the bar started. Working on my technique. But anything kind of like around or over 200 pounds is pretty heavy. I think my all-time best is 240. And then my recent kind of PR at this body weight and this age group is 100 kilos or 220 pounds. So if I can kind of like do it like around a 220 pound strict press after squatting heavy. Again, I haven't also done a walked out squat. I think I've only done one meet out of stands in my entire life. I kind of joke that, so that'll be kind of interesting. So technically anything I do will be like a walked out PR, and certainly a PR like in heels. So I've never competed in heels before, and I've never competed, like I said, since I was like maybe in my early 20s. I think I did one meet as a junior where I squatted like maybe 455 or something like that. So I guess technically anything over 455 would be like a walked out squat PR in a contest. And then I've never obviously done any strict pressing in a meet. My conventional deadlift PR in a meet is 625. I'm not sure if I'll be able to best that or not, but if I can get something around 600, I'd be super happy. But we'll kind of see. Like I said, deadlifts have not been feeling great. So just going to get as strong as I can this summer, but I still with the goal of dropping weight and still with the goal of kind of really focusing on Mr. America. And I'm going to, again, do some tune-ups along the way. I think tune-up meets can be a good idea, especially if you are either have had a long layover of competing, like if you've had a lot of time off, maybe you're coming off an injury or something like that. So a tune-up meet essentially is a meet where you're not going to max out, and the goal is just to kind of gain platform experience and just kind of really kind of see where you're at in terms of a true contest standard. And then, like I said, in terms of like, other things, in terms of like side quests and things like that, I think as long as the side quests don't interfere with any kind of major goals, like right now for me, I feel like a lot of my competitive prime is behind me. And maybe that's not like a great thing to say if you're like an athlete, but again, for me, I'm very happy with what I've accomplished. I've squatted 1,000 pounds in training. First and only known man to squat 800 pounds in 6 weight classes. One of the only men to total elite in 5 weight classes, although, again, in equipped lifting, you could argue it's potentially a little bit easier from a strength standpoint, but I would argue it's harder from a technical standpoint. So I'm pretty proud of that. That's something I believe that Louis Simmons did as well. So, again, for me, being able to compete and do pretty well in multiple weight classes, I think helps me as a coach, helps me as an athlete, helps me understand our athletes better. And then, I'm just looking to just have fun with strict curl. I want to kind of compete in it more so I can understand it and coach it better because I'm very, again, confident in my powerlifting ability. We've helped over 100 lifters over the years get top 50 national ranking according to Open Powerlifting or Powerlifting Watch. Again, multiple all-time world records with Larry Wheels, among others. In American records, now we got Martin McKay is following in Larry's footsteps. So anyways, that's kind of like what's going on. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 days that are a little bit more max effort work and 2 days that are a little bit more dynamic effort work, upper lower split. And I'm kind of squatting and deadlifting on the fairly heavy-ish on the same day. And then one day, in the upper body days is kind of strict curl and overhead press focus. So on this particular day, I elected to just kind of work up to a top double, and then I did a couple of heavy singles. I don't want to say they were sub-maximal because they got pretty hard toward the end, but so I just decided to work up. I used around 28 pounds of chains on this particular day, and I practiced with the Bells of Steel bar, which is going to be the bar that we're going to use for the Ironman Beach Bash and the East Coast Curl. And overall, like I've been doing a lot of sub-maximal work. I've been doing a lot of like more volume and kind of speed type work where I'm doing like things like 5 sets of 5 or 6 sets of 4 or 8 sets of 3. And I've been kind of sticking with like around 120 pounds of like bar weight. I haven't really gone much past that. So I was pleasantly surprised. I was able to, I believe I worked up to a top double of, I think it's, I'm not going to get the kilos, right? I think it was maybe around 65 kilos or something like that. Anyways, this is around 143 pounds, and I believe this was my top double of the day. Nope. This is 143 pounds. Sorry, that was 132 pounds. Yeah, so that was 132 pounds. That felt good. And then this was a little bit on the harder side. But, yeah, so you can see the second rep kind of got a little bit out in front. And then I just did 3 singles. So this is around 154 pounds and 28 pounds of change. This is around 180 pounds at the top. I think there might be like a link or two on the ground, so we'll call it around a 180 at the top. And I did 3 singles here, so you can see my transition's getting much better. Able to reel that weight in at the lockout. That's kind of like where I kind of missed. I missed around this weight, straight weight at the contest. So this is definitely a beltless PR, and it's certainly a volume PR. So if I want to curl 185 at some point, which is kind of one of my goals for strict curl, I got to make 175, 180 like a second attempt. So this was a good confidence boost, especially the fact that I haven't really been lifting heavy. And maybe that kind of clues me in that I maybe need to actually just spend a little bit more time just accumulating volume and working on my technique. So, but overall, I was super happy. So this is the little replay of this is my third and final set. But I'm very happy with that, especially after traveling and all those sorts of things. And then I just kind of did some back down work with some seated curls, as well as some preacher curls, which won't be shown here. But the seated curls, I've been kind of experimenting with doing them with back support, without back support. I think that there's value in both, but in terms of, I think, transferring over to the contest lift, trying to make things as more similar as possible. And I think just getting in the habit of not like rocking back and forward. So if you're doing preacher curls, if you're doing seated curls, I don't really like, if you wanted to really kind of transfer over effectively and you want it to be more of a skill-based movement, I suggest doing kind of the version where you're kind of against the wall. It's going to just transfer over better from a skill standpoint. If you're just kind of doing it for other reasons, and I think especially with preacher curls, like it's I think you can't say I missed the last rep there. I just didn't think it was going to go, so I just kind of quit on that rep. But 132 pounds was more reasonable. 154 was just a little bit. I'm just trying to kind of see where I'm at with this exercise. But so like probably the 130, 140 range is probably as much as I'll go. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.